Well, hello. Welcome back. This is Writing with Dev number 29. And this is my 9th in a series of 10 top 10s about writing. And today's top 10 is top 10 editing tips. All right, let's start. Number 10, use your body to edit. So when you work as a sound editor, one of the great ways to edit is by just feeling your body. Is your body relaxed? Is your body engaged? Is your body kind of jarred by something? And I think that using your body is a great way to edit. Because don't forget, when you are the writer, you are also the reader. You already have good taste. So if you can read in your head and really listen to your body and feel it clench up when things aren't working and relax when things are working, and that is great. I can't do it like that. So what I use is the text-to-speech app, which I mentioned in the top 10 online tools. I set the text-to-speech app up so it reads me back what I've written, and I just listen to my body and I'm like, yep, oh, what is that feeling of discomfort? That sentence is too long. That shouldn't be there. Oh, I've forgotten to write something. Use your body. You'll find that it will be a great way for you to be able to edit so your prose and your songwriting and your poetry and whatever it is that you're writing just shimmers and sings. This beautiful, clean copy which uses words, because just let's face it, we like computer programmers. We program words to try to get across what we want to, which we hope to affect people, either go into their brains or go into their hearts, or hopefully a little bit of both. Number nine. So when you're editing, when you think you found all the mistakes and everything that's wrong, set yourself a challenge, find 5 more mistakes. If you need to set yourself a little bit of reward, say find 5 more mistakes, and when you do, you get a bloody glass of wine or a chocolate bar or a cuddle with your dog or whatever. I can guarantee you set yourself a challenge to find 5 more mistakes, and you will find them. Just that's what you do when you think you've found everything that you possibly can. Just find 5 more. Number 8. Don't snag readers with big words that they don't know or don't understand or have never heard of. Just say no to jargon, say no to pompous language, say no to unnecessary complexity. As far as I'm concerned, unnecessary complexity is just a form of deceit. What we want is good, plain information. We don't want the scenic route. I don't want to be picking up a dictionary. Look, I'm sure there's some people who love doing that. But if I want to read, I want to read. If I want to read a dictionary, I'll read a dictionary. I don't want to be going back and forth going, what does that mean? What does it mean? Occasionally you can throw in a word that not everyone will know. I don't think there's ever been a book that I've read where I've known what every word is. But 9 out of 10 times in context, I've been able to understand what that word is because of the way that they've used it. I might look it up later, but I don't want to be snagged by it. So if you don't have a jargon detector, let's get someone to say, that's jargon, that's pompous, that's unnecessary, that's complex, that's a word that I don't think anyone I know has ever heard of, and see if you can say it in a plainer, clearer way. All points for clarity and just communication, not showing how wonderful you are. It's not a vocabulary competition. This is writing. This is about getting your ideas and your world into that other person's brain, not by, having kind of a hook kind of catching going, oh, I can't move any further because I don't know what that means. Just say no. No, you don't need it. Pompous, jargon, hardly ever heard of words, in the bin. Number 7, split long sentences into 2. I promise you it'll work, just into 2. There'll be a place you go, that's a bit long, and then even you can probably just go halfway through, and I can promise you within 3 or 4 words you go, yep, I could just cut it there. Just cut it into 2. Got it? Fabulous. Easy. Number 6, I want you to look through your document and I want you to get rid of words like this. Just, such as, that, I think, in my opinion, nevertheless, however, indeed, really, very, in order to. Sing along if you know the words. If there's a place for it down the bottom, give us some other things that you can get rid of. We just don't need that kind of unnecessary, inefficient language. Get straight to the point. So if you go through and you have a list of these really unnecessary words, I would say 98% of times you don't need the word that. You just don't need it. If you find a mistake, so say you write such as, chances are you will have said that at least 10 times in the document. So if you find something that you need to delete, do a search on it through your document, just get rid of it. Just get rid of such as, indeed, however, in order to, nevertheless, such as, very, really, just get rid of them. There might be the odd point where you actually need them, and I can tell you, if you just get rid of them all, as you read through, you'll miss it if you need it. And if you go, that needs a such there, just really throw it around and say, does it though? Does it make it a sentence which is more accurate, which is more efficient? But obviously, I'll be right on this because I've never been wrong. Number 5, editing tip. A dialogue. It's a really interesting thing. You actually need far less dialogue than you think you need. My guess is you generally don't need any more than 10% dialogue. If you're a bit confused about your dialogue and your description and you want to get a bit of a feeling for what would be great for your writing, I suggest that, grab a passage of, say, 1,000, 2,000 words and write that entire passage out just with description, and write the entire passage out with all of the action just written in dialogue. And you can see how dialogue kind of feels a bit exhausting when you've got that much, whereas in description, it's much easier to follow the story. Almost every writer has far too much dialogue in their first couple of drafts. Dialogue's a bit like salt. If it's not in there, you kind of miss it, but you only need a little bit to really lift your piece up so you can get your characters and your plot across. If you can say it without saying it, do. If you don't need the dialogue, again, let's go back to show, don't tell. That's a much smarter way to get your plot and your characters and your story across. Number 4, top editing tip, write in white font. If you are a procrastinator editor, and I know there's a lot of you out there because you come to my classes, if you're a procrastinator editor, I highly recommend that you try white font. And no, you can't do that if you're writing by hand. You can only do it if you're working on a computer. So what do I mean by writing in white font? Well, you can turn the screen off, or you can change the font to the color white, and you can't see what you're writing. Now, if you're gasping at this point, you need to do this because you're like, oh, I've got to see. It's like, no, you don't. If you came to me and you were a chronic procrastinator editor, my prescription for you would be anytime you sit down to write, say you're going to write for an hour, 45 minutes, screen off or white font, and then you get 15 minutes to edit as a reward. Half an hour, I'd say, write for 23 minutes and then you get 7 minutes to edit as a reward. It works. The white font, people have literally said to me, that white font tip that you gave me, it literally changed my life. So go on, go off and change your own life. Number 3 editing tip. Now this might be particularly good for dyslexics. It could be good for everyone, but hopefully this is all a bit of a lucky dip. There'll be stuff that will be really helpful for you and there'll be stuff that's not as helpful. One of the ways that I edit is read my paragraphs in reverse order, because it just shakes the way up that it comes back into you, because you know that story. You've kind of written it from the top down. Read from the bottom up. You could read a paragraph at a time or a sentence at a time. Of course, I'm not saying read words backwards. It's like zip, 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 zip. Just read your paragraphs out of order. See them with a fresh set of eyes. Number 2 editing tip. Change your font. Change the size of the font. Change the color of the font. Put it into bold. Put it in italics. Change the line spacing. This is a way that you can see what you've written in a new way, and it will draw your eyes to inaccuracies and things that need correcting or working on just simply because you've altered it slightly. Number 1 editing tip is Don't meander, don't waffle. Just look at every single word and go, do I need this word? Is this the most efficient way that I can tell this story or get this idea across? If you are stuck, I highly recommend use your spell check, use your grammar check, which are probably native within your computer, but also the Hemingway and Grammarly apps are fantastic. Have a look at those. They will be able to help you clean up your copy, save you a bit of money, and teach you how to edit. One of my greatest editing teachers has probably been just the spelling and grammar app, which will keep popping up the same things and you're going, oh yes, that makes sense. Use those native apps and extend to the Hemingway app and the Grammarly app. Of course, I don't get paid for plugging any of these things. I just tell you the things that I think are good and that they work, and I buy them if I want, and you should too. No, there's no special promo code. Go and put your hand in your pocket if that's your thing. Great. Thanks for joining me again today. There's a link in the comments to all my other online classes and to show you ways you can donate to my little cry for help, because every time you spend $1, you are voting on how you want the world to be. Supported by the City of Melbourne COVID-19 Arts Grants.